People don't care what you know until they know that you care. So you can't just tell your kids a bunch of information. First, you have to establish a relationship, that you're a trustworthy person. And then you could teach them anything. But first and foremost, show them that you care. And how do you show your children that you care? I mean, really, the spiritual way to do it is when you look at them and you see their unconditional worth. You see them as a neshama, chelek elekami mamish. So you see your child as having this unconditional worth, and they feel totally safe and totally wanted and totally accepted and totally honored, then you can teach them to do anything. I said, that's what the Rebbe did. When the Rebbe looked at you, you felt completely whole, complete. And that parenting is really to look at our children with the Rebbe's eyes, the way the Rebbe looks at us. Shliach shel Adam k'meisei. How the Rebbe looks at us, we have to look at our children. So somebody said, that's very inspiring, but what does that even mean? Like, how do you do that? So one woman says, could I share a story? She says, when I was 3 years old, I was in yechidus with my whole family. My whole family was in yechidus. And the Rebbe asked me, three years old, do you have your own Pushka, your own tzedakah box? Now, the Rebbe had just mentioned the importance of every child having their own tzedakah box. And my parents were very careful. Whatever the Rebbe spoke about, they would do it right away. They're very particular about it. So the Rebbe asked the 3-year-old, do you have your own tzedakah box? And the parents jumped forward and said, yes, yes, she does. We took care of it. Yes, she does. And apparently, the Rebbe wasn't really that interested in what the mother and father were answering. The Rebbe continued to focus on the 3-year-old and again asked the 3-year-old, do you have your own tzedakah pushka? And she said, I don't know. Now the mother and father just said, yes, she does have one. But the girl said, I don't know. Apparently, it was done for her. It was put in her room. Maybe her name was put on it. In fact, she said her name was put on it. But she didn't understand that that was happening. That wasn't her experience. So the Rebbe opened up his drawer and took out a pushka. I just heard this story. I mean, I could even tell you who this is. This is somebody that I've known for years. She didn't give me permission to publicly tell the story, so I'm not going to share the name. But the Rebbe opened his drawer and pulled out a pushka and gave her the pushka and said, this is your pushka. And they gave her some money, not sure how much, and told her to put it in the pushka. And then the Rebbe said, you keep this pushka, and when it's full, bring it back to me. How can somebody who never raised children be that sensitive and that in tune with a 3-year-old child? And to have that type of regard, that type of respect for the 3-year-old. I don't want to hear what the parents say. The parents say, yeah, she has a pushka. No. What does the 3-year-old say? Do you have your own pushka? The Rebbe asked, your own. Was dein eigene tzedakah pushka? Do you have your own? And you don't know? Okay, now you do. Here is your pushka. And the Rebbe gave her a pushka. And this woman said that till today, she has 2 pushkas. The one that has her name on it, that her parents gave her, but she didn't know they gave her, and it was officially hers, but experientially, that wasn't how she took it. And then she has the Rebbe's pushka that the Rebbe gave her own pushka. Now, there's more to the story. When she was 12 years old, she became Bas Mitzvah. This girl's father insisted that she go in to the Bar Mitzvah yechidus. There was a Bar Mitzvah yechidus klalos, a group of Bar Mitzvah boys. About 30, 40 boys who all had their Bar Mitzvahs around that time, went in together for yechidus. And this father said, what's the difference? Bar mitzvah, bas mitzvah. And he had chutzpah and he fought with the secretaries and he pushed his daughter in and he got her in. And she said, I was so nervous. I was terrified. I'm 12 years old, 12-year-old girl. The only girl in the Rebbe's room, which is daunting enough, with this whole group of 30 boys, bar mitzvah boys, for a bar mitzvah yechidus, and I know I don't belong. Oh, and in this yechidus, she brought back the full pushka. that she'd been given when she was 3, and gave the Rebbe the money, because the Rebbe said, when it's full, bring it back to me. I said to her, I said, by the way, I can't believe you. You know how many times you could have been in yechidus if you would have kept filling that pushka? Every time you came to New York, you could, I have to return it. At any rate, so she gave the money that was filled up in the pushka, and the Rebbe said a short sicha to the group, and she said that every single time the Rebbe said the word bar mitzvah, every single time the Rebbe would say, and Bas Mitzvah. Because it's not a room full of boys, and then one girl over there. If this is your child, and in fact, what do we know? What's a father? A father is one who relates to every single child as an only child. Baal Shem Tov said, Hashem loves every single Jew, like an old couple who had an only child in their old age. And we know that's what a father is. Because remember, Aviv is not 3 plus 12, it's 3 times 12, because each of the 3 Avos have to show up 12 different ways, as many different Shvatim as there are, however many tribes there are, however many children you have to be there completely, 100% for each of your children. It's not like you have a child and you love them with all your heart, and then you have a second child, sorry kids, each of you are only going to get love from 50% of my heart. And if I have 10 children, each of you get 10% of my heart. No, there's something infinite about the power of a father's love. You can have 10 children, you love them all with 100% of your heart. Not mathematically possible, but we're talking about the neshama, we're talking about the soul, which is infinite. And a father is able to see the neshama of his child, and therefore it doesn't matter if it's a room full of boys and then there's one girl. No. This girl is a world. This girl is infinite. And now it's bar mitzvah and bas mitzvah.